What is up, everyone? I'm excited because today we're doing something for the first time that we wanted to do for a very long time. We're making our very first versus battle. We've all sat around the table and debated who would win in a fight between this guy and that guy, but we obsess over it. We take it to the next level, and today you get a little glimpse into our madness. For our first debate, we are putting two masters of the dark side up against each other. We have Darth Vader going toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren. So please put in the comments below who you think won this debate and any suggestions for future versus battles you would like to see.
What could you give me?
Everything.
Hey guys, I'm Tony. Here today I will be representing Vader on the side of the debate. Who would win in a fight, Vader versus Kylo Ren? Now, we're talking about Vader, a man born of the Force, fallen from grace, corrupted by Sidious, who he saw to be the true shield and sword of the Galactic Empire and what he saw fit to end the run of the Jedi Council. A man feared amongst all throughout the galaxy, easily able to defeat Kylo Ren in battle, in my opinion.
I've been waiting for you.
Guys, make no mistake. This isn't about popularity. This isn't about who was created by the Force. This is about who wins in a fight. Kylo Ren pisses a lot of people off. He doesn't piss me off, but it doesn't matter if he does. It's about who wins in a fight. This is Han Solo's child. This is a Skywalker bloodline. This is a guy that was trained by Luke Skywalker and was influenced by Palpatine through Snoke. Vader didn't have all that. Vader was trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi's a lesser tier than the top dogs. He wasn't even anywhere close to being Yoda, whatnot, who also trained Luke, by the way. I'm just telling you, once we get into this debate, you're going to tell that Vader is just that weak old man that Luke Skywalker kicked his ass in Return of the Jedi. That's how it's going to end up. So get ready.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not here to dispute Ren's power within the Force, but you forget that Vader is not just Vader, but a full-grown man who was once Anakin Skywalker.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Ren is nothing more than a boy. Anakin was able to train for years throughout the Clone Wars, a wartime hero, general, leader, studying, yes, under Obi-Wan, but also being able to see the multiple different styles of the masters, multiple lightsaber forms, a master of all seven, choosing Form 5 for his strength and power. And yes, when he had his human body, he did move more fluidly, for sure. But a tactician, general, intuition, all of his plans, you see improvisation in the Dooku fight, able, young yet arrogant, able to pick up and dual-wield lightsabers on the fly. Many of his plans we see in the further film.
Anything else?
Also, always work. What does Ren accomplish? What does Ren do? What plan does Ren hatch that actually works out?
Only a master of evil, Darth.
Okay, let me take it from there. Ren actually achieves overthrowing his master. Vader never overthrew him until he turned to the light. So Ren actually becomes the supreme leader of his entire order. So he achieves what he wanted to. And what was so impressive of him is he didn't let his motivations be known. He sat there quietly biding his time because Snoke was more powerful. Then he struck when the guy could read his mind. He was still cunning enough to have a lightsaber in front of him and one right next to Snoke to know that he could trick him that way.
He ignites it and kills his true enemy.
2. Darth Vader was a shell of himself after Revenge of the Sith. His body is literally cleaved all over the place. You have to put him in a suit. So the man he was before he went into the suit is completely different. His freedom of movement and all that tactician type stuff. He's still a tactician, but he can't move around as fluidly. When it comes time to all these years of practice and all these trained things, it doesn't matter. Luke Skywalker hardly had any practice. He was trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi. He abandoned his training with Yoda. he ends up coming back as way more powerful than Darth Vader. That's who the Emperor was going to replace Vader with. So as much as us nerds want to act like in real life, practice makes perfect, in the Star Wars universe, if you have the right master, if you complete your training, it's great. Kylo Ren's training wasn't complete in Snoke's mind until he was ready at that point to kill Rey. Just like Luke's training wasn't complete until Return of the Jedi. So everything you saw from Luke in Empire Strikes Back, a shell of what he became in Return of the Jedi, despite all the years of lack of training and how he abandoned Yoda, even against Yoda's behest.
Clinging to life, Sidious sought out to put fear into Luke's mind, to doubt his ability to train Ren, and that he only wanted to use Ren as a new body, and that he was ready to throw him to the side to see fit when he thought he could put his body inside of Rey. Was Ren nothing more than just a vessel to him?
Yes, he was somebody clearly that he was trying to manipulate, but Ren didn't buy what he was trying to sell. So from the point of Rise of Skywalker, once he realizes everything that's kind of happened, he was done being manipulated. He was doing his own agenda. He was out for himself. At the end of The Last Jedi, this line is important when Kylo Ren says it. A lot of people hate that movie. It's actually my favorite, so go ahead and hate me all you want, but it's still the best Star Wars film that's out there. When he says, "Let the past die."
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Skywalker, all of it. He evolved past all that stuff, the Sith, all that stuff. He was about himself achieving his own goals. That was all Kylo Ren was. Sidious got in the way. It was just a hurdle he had to overcome, but he was never going to play fiddle with Darth Sidious whatsoever. He was always planning to overthrow him or kill him. And Sidious probably knew that, but he never got what he wanted from Kylo Ren, ever, at that point.
So it's interesting you bring up The Last Jedi, because I find it to show Ren at one of his weakest, easily most manipulated points. The final battle on Crate against Luke. Yes, he studied under Luke for, they don't really say how many years, but yes, Luke did cut off his attunement to the Force for many years. Ren could not find him. But you would think someone so powerful, so strong, so attuned to the Force, after years spent with his master, would immediately be able to know that he had reconnected with the Force, and yet that body was not Luke. How is Ren so easily deceived, whereas Vader was able to, who spent zero time with his kids, Luke and Leia, did not even know if they were fully alive, galaxies, light years away, was able to sense that they were on Hoth, trusted his intuition, immediately made and was respected by the Empire to go to Hoth to find him, and he was 100% correct. They were both there. He knew they were there. He was not fooled, whereas Ren was easily fooled by what honestly is someone of these caliber of people should be a parlor trick.
I get it that he gets fooled by the Force, but we've seen people get fooled by the Force many times. They didn't know. I mean, Yoda, the wisest and most powerful of all Jedi, didn't know the guy that they sent somebody to rescue as the senator was the Sith Lord. So if you're going to really cast aspersions at Kylo Ren, you're going to cast aspersions to all the Jedi for being as stupid as you can be. Yoda had no idea. All the Jedi were around Palpatine the entire time, yet they didn't know he was laughing his ass off at them behind his back. Let's face it, even though Darth Vader is older, he still loses himself in anger too in Revenge of the Sith. I know he wasn't as prone to that when he was in the suit and that, but he also brought together a bunch of weaknesses, mobility, probably lost a lot of power because a lot of his blood was cut out, a lot of his limbs were severed. There's all kinds of issues with that as well, so it's not like he has it all anymore.
I would say that the suit, yes, did slow him down, but the way a Sith channels their energy and seeks their form of balance in the Force is through pain and suffering. And being in a place of constant pain and suffering and knowing what he did and causing the death of Padme and losing everything every day in that meditation chamber, he just grew stronger and stronger. What was Ren's meditation? What was his angst? What was his true hatred? What did he have to truly dwell on within the dark side of the Force and grow stronger in it?
Well, he just fed off his hatred completely of being betrayed. If you betrayed Kylo Ren, he was either going to attempt to kill you, he was done with you. Luke Skywalker did it once. He woke up out of a nap and defeated Luke Skywalker. I'm not saying he beat him in a duel, but if you betrayed Kylo Ren, he was going to put his mind and he was going to stop you. Darth Vader followed the guy that manipulated him and didn't even have the self-awareness to know that Padme was alive. You want to talk about dummies and being fooled by the Force. He couldn't even sense that Padme wasn't killed at that point while the old man's laughing in the same room. He has no idea. He's just being manipulated. For over 2 decades, he marches to the beat of Palpatine's drum. That's pathetic in my opinion.
Do you not think he was just a man accepting who he fully was at this point, that he was now fully Vader and that he had to live with his actions for the rest of his life?
No, because in the moment of Empire Strikes Back, we can tell that he wants to overthrow Vader as soon as he gets Luke alone. He doesn't want to destroy him. He wants to overthrow him first chance he gets. He just knows he's not powerful enough. So he marched to the tune. He was waiting for his opportunity. It just took over 20 years. Okay, one of the things I always hear about Kylo Ren, which always pisses me off to my core, is what did he do in the movies? What did he do? He lost, blah, 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 blah. Kylo Ren at his best has never been defeated outside of extenuating circumstances. All right, Ken, what do you mean by extenuating circumstances? Okay, let's go to the end of the first film, The Force Awakens. He just ends up killing. And I want you to put yourself in the shoes of what he's doing. So don't just look at it as, oh my gosh, he lost. Look at, he just killed his own father.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Father that he had conflict about, that Snoke just told him in a prior scene. He doesn't have a bad father. He has a father that loved and cared for him. He was emotionally torn about. He knew that he had to kill him, but he was still honest enough to admit that there was conflict in him. So it was going to be hard to do. His father didn't beat him or anything like that. He just ends up impaling his father, gets caught off guard, going through all that emotional thing, just gets completely wounded by the Chewbacca weapon that is sending stormtroopers in the same film flying back 20, 30 yards.
I like this thing.
Then he gets on and he goes on to fight multiple people. He defeats Rey at the beginning. Most people forget that. He force pushes her, knocks her completely out. Finn takes over, fights a wounded Kylo, wounds him himself. Kylo wins, and they fight at that point. And at that point when they fight, Kylo is still trying to talk her into taking over and just like, why don't you let me train you? He's still trying to guide her, so he's not just trying to mop the floor with her right out of the gate. He's emotionally crippled, and he's also bleeding, and he's been wounded in his shoulder from Finn.
Yeah, that duel with Finn and Rey is rather interesting. You would think that someone that's so powerful within the Force, so channeling, so dwelling in the dark side, would easily just be able to mind melt them, to just immediately rip the lightsaber from their hands. These are untrained individuals.
Bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber. You failed!
Yes, we learned that Rey has phenomenal power within the Force, but Finn is untrained. He is just nothing more than a lowly stormtrooper. He should not even be able to strike one blow with Ren without the lightsaber being ripped away. He shouldn't even be able to hold him for 1 second. So what is going on there? Bowcaster injury or not, it should not matter. And the pain and the hatred should be a good thing for him. He should be able to channel that hatred. Darth Maul survived on hatred alone through his injuries. So why is that not making him stronger but weaker in this moment?
Because he's not only physically hurt, he's emotionally crippled by it. And the fact, I don't like when people say Force users should be able to defeat you in 1 second. We see Obi-Wan Kenobi in his prime go up against Jango Fett. They go back and forth for a while, and it's kind of a stalemate. Finn has been trained the entire time to be a soldier, so he also has Force connections, we find out later in the film. He just hasn't been trained with it. So he's been trained from the time he was born to fight. So it's not like this random guy. He gets one lucky shot on him, and Kylo destroys him after that. Okay, guys, here's something we haven't talked about yet. All right, I want to direct you to 2 feats. Basically, these are reflex reaction feats. And they're completely relevant because they're going to show how much better is in a situation Ren is to Vader. So let's take how The Force Awakens starts. He's over there doing his own thing. Dameron Poe shows up, completely outside of his field of vision, takes a shot. After he takes a shot, Kylo Ren freezes the shot a couple inches or maybe a couple feet exactly from his blaster, freezes it and him in place.
Right.
Completely one of the most amazing reflex things we've ever seen because he wasn't even looking at him, wasn't even aware he was there. And there was all kinds of people everywhere. Now let's take a look at Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back. He's kind of catches Han Solo and Leia by surprise. Han Solo draws his gun, gets off 2 or 3 shots before Vader can react. What's Vader do? Kind of blocks him with his hand. Like 2 shots. Then he pulls the gun away. It's like he can see a guy. The guy gets off 2 shots before he even responds. He just kind of blocks it, then pulls it away. Kylo Ren responds much faster, completely negates his opponent and the actual laser before it even gets close to him. It's not even comparable whatsoever.
I don't see this scene on Bespin with Vader and Han as anything damning. It was Vader's plan. He knew they were coming into the room. He knew fear. He knew Han could not harm him. So what is there to do? He wanted to show them how weak and powerless you are by just easily disintegrating without an effort the bolts and then disarming him. He had nothing to fear there, so why does he need to react faster?
Well, because you don't want to get shot and he still wants the end thing, so why wouldn't you achieve it faster? I'm not saying he was going to kill him with those shots. But if you're that impressive, why don't you just take the gun away right away? I'm just saying with Kylo Ren, he stopped it quicker and he completely froze the guy. Why didn't Vader do any of that? And Vader could see his guy.
Well, in Rogue One, when he boards the Rebel planes trying to stop and get the ships, he clearly holds up multiple soldiers in the air while walking forward, while deflecting multiple blaster bolts and killing. We see him, the ability to use the Force without focusing on the object is very easily done and not lost on him in that moment. So I would say that is an equal power ability of them. Not one is able to do it better than the other.
Okay, here's where I completely disagree. I will say this before I tell you what I disagree with. I do agree that Vader can do this kind of easily. But when you look at Rogue One, this is what you have to really take into consideration. Why was Vader even there? Nobody ever wants to talk about this. They want to talk about how cool it looked and how badass Vader was. Vader was there for one thing, to get the Death Star disc. Did he even achieve his mission? No, he failed like an idiot. There was one guy, these guys weren't trained warriors. These were idiots running around screaming for their lives. Like, could get the disc, running around. All Vader had to do was grab the disc, force pull it at any point. Doesn't. They get the disc on through the next door.
Take it! Take it!
Vader completely fails in his mission. But he did look cool. Other than that, though, complete mission failure. So well done, Darth Vader. Okay, when you look back to the original trilogy with Darth Vader, everybody tends to give him a huge pass. Obi-Wan Kenobi, he never outright defeated him. Obi-Wan Kenobi set out to merge with the Force, so he drops his defenses and just kind of merges with the Force. He does defeat Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back. I will give him that. But in Return of the Jedi, it is so bad of a matchup. Luke Skywalker is literally kicking him down the steps and playing hide and seek. And Darth Vader has no idea where he is. He has the Force. He doesn't even know. He's like playing peekaboo with the other Jedi, and he doesn't know where he is.
You cannot hide forever, Luke.
And he's supposedly this badass Sith Lord. He doesn't even know where Luke Skywalker is, and he has all these abilities. And then through their fight, he finds out, he has a sister. And that's the only reason he draws Luke out, or he could still be hiding from him.
The duel with Luke I see as not a testament to his power, but of a man at the end. The man ready to die and sacrifice himself. I'm not sure if he would have, fighting at full strength, been able to defeat Luke had Luke not been his own son. But clearly he was not fighting at his full strength, did not want to kill his child. He was ready to either die or somehow overthrow Sidious in that throne room that day. He knew he was not leaving there alive.
So everything you criticized Kylo Ren about, being emotionally distraught, you just said the same thing about Darth Vader with. He wasn't willing to go that far down against a family member. Okay, guys, you get to decide for yourself who won this debate. If you're going to base it on logic and evidence, we know who you're going with. It's Kylo Ren. If you like Darth Vader more, and he's just cooler, and you like his voice, Darth Vader wins.
There is no conflict.
But Kylo Ren has every conceivable advantage. Better combat, reflex showings, better duels, dominated an in-prime Jedi at her best, giving into her anger, whereas Darth Vader lost to an in-prime Jedi, giving into his anger, and the fact that Darth Vader never truly became his own man. Kylo Ren was his own man, had no master. Darth Vader never did.
And I will finish what you started.
So, again, you either do it on facts and evidence or feelings. Just like how Darth Vader said it. Look into your feelings. You know it to be true.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Ken is right. This is not about a cool or popularity contest. This is about facts, power, strength, ability, knowledge. And Vader surpasses Ren in all of those.
Alas, you're no Vader. You're just a child.
You must remember that Anakin is Vader, and all of the experiences and knowledge he gained through his time in the Clone Wars still live within him through Vader, which makes me believe that he would be able to outwit, outmanipulate, and put himself in an advantageous position to take advantage of Ren and use his vast, wider knowledge in lightsaber combat to defeat Ren. May the Force be with you, and please let us know what you think in the comments section below.